MIS comes from the Latin verb mittere, to send. A missile is something sent speeding through the air or water. And when your class is dismissed at the end of the day, you're sent home. Mission 1. A task that someone is given to do, especially a military task. 2. A task that someone considers an important duty. She considers it her mission to prevent unwanted puppies and kittens from being born. Your own mission in life can be anything you pursue with almost religious enthusiasm. People with a mission, whether it's stopping drunk driving, keeping the town's public areas clean, increasing local recycling, or building a community center, very often succeed in really changing things. Missionary: a person undertaking a mission, and especially a religious missionary. North American missionaries have been working in Central America for decades, and you can find their churches in even the most remote jungle regions. Beginning around 1540, an order of Catholic priests known as the Jesuits began to send its members to many parts of the world to convert peoples who believed in other gods to Christianity. Wherever they went, the Catholic missionaries built central buildings for their religious work, and the buildings themselves became known as missions. Many 17th century missions in the American West and Southwest are now preserved as museums. Their foes, the Protestants, soon began sending out their own missionaries, and today Protestant missionaries are probably far more numerous. Emissary: someone sent out to represent another, an agent. Now in his 70s, he had served over many years as a presidential emissary to many troubled regions of the world. Like missionaries, emissaries are sent on missions. However, emissaries are more likely to be representing governments, political leaders, and non-religious institutions, and an emissary's mission is usually to negotiate or to gather information. So a president may send a trusted emissary to a war-torn region to discuss peace terms. A company's CEO may send an emissary to check out another company that they may be thinking of buying. And a politician may send out an emissary to persuade a wealthy individual to become a supporter. Transmission 1. The act or process of sending something from one point to another, especially sending electrical signals to a radio, television, computer, etc. 2. The gears by which the power is passed from the engine to the axle in a motor vehicle. Even in the Middle Ages, transmission of news of a ruler's death across the Asian continent could be accomplished by sun reflectors within 24 hours. Since trans means across, see trans, it's not hard to see the meaning of transmission. Disease transmission occurs when an infection passes from one living thing to another. TV signal transmission can be interrupted by tree leaves, including moving leaves and branches during a storm. Your car's transmission transmits the engine's power to the axle, changing the gears to keep the engine working with maximum efficiency at various speeds. PEL comes from the Latin verb pellere, meaning to move or drive. So a propeller moves a small airplane forward. And if you dispel someone's fears, you'd drive them away. Compel: 1. To force someone to do something. 2. To make something happen. After returning from the lecture, they felt compelled to contribute to one of the refugee relief agencies. The prefix com acts as a strengthener in this word, thus, to compel is to drive powerfully or force. So you may feel compelled to speak to a friend about his drinking, or compelled to reveal a secret in order to prevent something from happening. A compulsion is usually a powerful inner urge. A compulsive shopper or a compulsive gambler usually can't hold on to money for long. You might not want to do something unless there's a compelling reason. However, a compelling film is simply one that seems serious and important. Expel: 1. To drive or force out. 2. To force to leave, usually by official action. For repeatedly ignoring important agreements over several years, the two countries were eventually expelled from the trade organization. To expel is to drive out, and its usual noun is expulsion. Expel is similar to eject, but expel suggests pushing out while eject suggests throwing out. Also, ejecting may only be temporary. The player ejected from a game may be back tomorrow, but the student expelled from school is probably out forever. Impel: to urge or drive forward by strong moral force. As the meeting wore on without any real progress being made, she felt impelled to stand and speak. Impel is very similar in meaning to compel, and often a perfect synonym, though it tends to suggest even more strongly an inner drive to do something and a greater urgency to act, especially for moral reasons. But when impel takes its noun and adjective forms, it changes slightly. So an impulse, such as impulse buying, when you suddenly see something cool and know you've got to have it, often isn't based on anything very serious. And impulsive behavior in general, such as blurting out something stupid on the spur of the moment, is the kind of thing you're supposed to get over when you grow up.